Henry, this is called the Baton Rouge Area Graduate Scholarship, which stands for BRAG, right? So I know that you have no problems talking about yourself whatsoever. Um, so I want that to come through, and I want you to tell everybody when we ask you these questions to really show yourself. Ryan and I have known each other for years. We are entering that next part of life. But no, we've known each other for a while. We've worked together in the past, and now we're doing it again, and we're getting the boys back together. And you're one of our interviews, and we're super excited to have you.
Yeah, Henry, we're two Baton Rouge guys as well. Went to Baton Rouge high schools here, graduated. I wasn't at the top of my class. I'm sure Josh was.
I
wasn't. My athletic abilities ended in high school, and so I wasn't going to get an athletic scholarship anywhere. And so a lot of the scholarships available to students and high school seniors are based on athletics or academic achievement. And so what we wanted to do was put together something that didn't require those, that doesn't hurt. But what the main focus of the scholarship is for people that are doing great things in the community, whether it's inside your school, inside your family, inside your church, bettering themselves, their people around them, demonstrating kindness, generosity, and just being a positive impact or influence on anyone that they come in contact with. You were one of the 8 selected, man, so congrats for that. And what we want to do now is get you to open up, right? We want you to brag about yourself. We want you to brag about the people that have influenced you and that have encouraged you along the way. And then we want to get a taste of what you think your life's going to be like here in the short term, especially with all this stuff going on, but also in the long term, 5-10 years out. Cool? You can be brutally honest with us, man. Just open up.
All right.
Safe space.
Absolutely. All right. So, Henry, the best question that we can start out with is super unique. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Get that question a lot. So, about me. I am a very goofy person. I cannot be serious. So I'm gonna put that one out right now. I don't take a lot of things serious. But I am a very multi-talented person. I can sometimes be a busybody, and some days I feel like being lazy. Being very honest. Let's see. I'm a very hardworking and determined young man. I don't necessarily give up easily. So if one route doesn't work, I always find my way around that. So I don't let obstacles stop me easily.
Tell us about some people in your life that influence you.
One big influence was my mother. My mother, she had her first child at the age of 18, so she wasn't even graduating high school yet. So that was one big thing that stopped her, but it didn't let her come to a complete stop and feel like she was just gonna sit down and be like, I have one child, I have nothing else to do with my life. But she had my sister, then she had me, then she had my little brother. 3 children, no college degree. She was working at Brinks. So she worked at Brinks for a few years, then she ended up getting laid off. And that's when she finally thought, I need to go back to school, get my degree, and start a better role model for my kids. So she got her first degree at Southern University in child development, and she went back, got her bachelor's, and now she's going back for her PhD at Capella University online. So she has really done a lot of amazing things being in the state that she was in, but she's doing a lot of successful things with her life now. So she's been a big influence to me.
That's really cool, man. Wow. Yeah, so my mom kind of did the same thing. Hush those people in the background. So my mom did the same thing. She went back to school, and whenever I was 3 and 4 years old, she'd pick me up from daycare, pre-K, and bring me to LSU classes with her, and I'd eat my little lunch on the side while her professors would teach her classes, man. So I feel you on that. Super inspirational.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
super amazing that she did all that.
And who else? Who else in your life is a big inspiration to you?
Another big inspiration would have to be Mr. Leroy. His name is Leroy Hollins. He is the owner of the Louisiana Youth Sports Network. He basically runs this network that has different programs such as football, basketball, baseball, and it's just basically creating this big community for the children to play on these different teams, to compete against other teams, and build this big family, and to just try to create a generation of young athletes that are going to go off to high school and, you know, become something. And he's been working with places in the NFL. Right now he's working with the Saints. So he's doing a lot of great things. And he's also brought the idea of Louisiana youth sports around the world, trying to bring this idea of these youth kids can play sports. They can do with the same thing they can do in high school, they can do now at the young age that they're at. So he's also been a big inspiration for me as well.
How long have you been involved with that network?
I've been involved with that network for 10 years.
That's great, man. So he was like a male role model for you?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, yeah, man. So what we'll do right now is kind of get into, I appreciate you giving us some background on you and who's influenced you, but we want to get into a little bit more lighthearted stuff and talk. This is our lightning round of questions, right? So it's just kind of silly stuff. We want right off the top of your head, your initial impression of what we ask. Okay. And so if we're going to ask you, or I'll just start off. What's your favorite book?
It is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan.
Why?
Because the Greek mythology behind it, I'm just into Greek mythology. I find it unique. It's just a different way to view things. It's a great story of how the book was, created. Has its lighthearted moments, a couple downhearted moments. But all in all, it's a really good book. And he has like a lot of series that I'm just really into. So,
what great character do you most identify with?
Yes, great question.
What was that?
Which character do you most identify with in Greek mythology?
Zeus.
Why?
I just think he's cool.
See, I honestly, Henry, I thought you were going to really say like Hercules or you were going to go like Adonis. Like I thought you were going one of those two routes,
Just pick Zeus. I mean, lightning. It's cool.
Okay. I just want you to know Zeus had a bunch of kids, and was.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll go down that road. No.
All right. So next one, your favorite TikTok dance or challenge?
I don't have one, but I haven't seen a lot of people do the Megan Thee Stallion challenge. So it's kind of
which one is that?
But what is it called? It's called Savage.
Oh, Savage!
Act like you don't know what that is. Like stop acting like you have not done it. We all know you've done it, so don't play games.
Oh, and I do like the 2C slide that just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's easy. I think I could do that one.
Ryan, I think, is that like you said you're going to do it now? Is that? All
right. Henry, if you could pick any mentor, right? So anybody, dead, living, anybody, who would your dream mentor be?
Martin Luther King Jr. I've always said this growing up as a child.
Why?
And the reason for this was because when he did all these marches, gave his "I Have a Dream" speech, and he still had this drive to bring all of these segregated people together, and that was his dream. And no matter what people told him, he wanted that dream to come true. So his determination and hard work really inspired me when I first learned about him in elementary school. And ever since then, I've just been admiring Martin Luther King Jr. and his work. And if I really did have a time machine to go back in time and save him, of course, I would have him as a mentor.
Do you know anybody that's actually seen him speak?
My great grandmother on my father's side, she actually had a chance to meet him before.
Well, what did she say? I mean, what kind of stories did she tell you about that?
She said she couldn't really give me a good story, but her most vivid memory of him was just shaking his hand. And she said when she shook his hand, she felt warmth and just so much strength coming from him. Wow. And so she was just stuck. So she had no words to say. She was just stuck there, just shaking his hand. And she said he was a very, very strong and inspirational man. And the only thing she could do was just look him in the eyes and just see how powerful and strong of a person Martin Luther King Jr. was.
That's awesome, man.
That's a lot. Henry, I got one more serious question for you. All right, before we go to the next serious question. So, Henry, all right, tell me your best joke. Make me laugh.
Okay. You know, I didn't know I was going to get asked this on the spot, so gotta kind of.
He's thinking about the G-rated ones. He's like, half of them I can't tell him.
Right.
Okay. So, what do you call a bear with no socks?
I don't know.
Barefoot.
Dude, that is a dad joke if I've ever heard one. Dude, you might be Zeus. You're ready, man. You're ready.
You are ready for Zeus.
I had to up my dad joke game up, man.
All right, I'll take it. Especially because of the Zeus reference. There we go. We'll take it. All right, so good. Ryan, you got it.
Well, you know, you kind of told us some influences on you, you know, with your family. What about some other influences like in school? You know, obviously you're where you're at now is because you're a driven person and you've got some passion. Were there mentors in school that guided you into, you know, maybe you should really consider going to these colleges, or this is, you know, let's talk about your goals and how do we get there? Were there people in your school that were doing that for you?
My former head coach, Coach Marvin Mercer, he was one person that really did wanted to see me grow into a young man and succeed. I remember going into my 10th grade year, I was playing football at the time, and I was the second string cornerback. So he was like, you know what, I'm going to be honest. I really think you should quit football. And I kind of went like, what? So he was like, yeah, you should, quit football. I was like, well, why would you say that? He's because, think about it. Your 9th grade year here, you were on the varsity team, and you got more playing time than any other freshman. And he said, with talent like that, for you to come on my baseball team and be able to play varsity your freshman year really means you have a lot of talent. So he really wanted to see me go into the right path, even though he went to the wrong path, which is kind of ironic. But yeah, he was someone that really wanted to see me succeed.
And so, I mean, you're kind of telling the story, which is, you know, looking back on it, I'm sure you think you made the right decision, and you probably did. But yeah, how did you handle him telling you that? You know, because I'm sure you love playing football.
Yeah, I did. But the first thing I did was kind of sit down and think to myself, does he have a point? And I compared it side by side. I went from my freshman year from football, my freshman year to baseball. So my freshman year, football, I didn't get much playing time. I didn't start varsity. I played JV. We only had 2 JV games. My ninth grade year of playing baseball, I played on JV and varsity. I was a rotational player on the varsity squad. I started JV. So I basically was able to get a lot more exposure in baseball than I was football. So over the summer of my 10th grade going into my 11th grade year, I finally said, I think I found my sport. And I finally went with baseball.
What made you trust this coach? Because, I mean, that takes a lot of trust in somebody whenever they're telling you, hey, quit this sport that you probably still like, and you need to focus all your time on here. You know, if it's not somebody that that you trust, I mean, there's just no way that you're going to do that. So what made you trust him?
The biggest thing that made me trust him was this story he told me about him. He got a baseball scholarship to play at Grambling, and he said when he went off to Grambling, he thought he was going to play baseball and football. But he said when he tried to play football, they did this little tryout thing. He said it just didn't, feel that way. It didn't feel the same as if he was in high school. So he just stuck to baseball. So baseball was his sport. And I'm pretty sure he said, I don't know if he said he had the highest batting average or the second highest, one or the other, but he said he had one of the highest batting averages. And he said he really enjoyed it and he had a lot of fun. But he said the main thing he wanted me to grasp from his story was to do what you have the most fun with. So I feel like I had the most fun playing baseball.
So Henry, I mean, you've had so would it be fair to say that your baseball season, is the thing you miss out on the most, like you're most disappointed at not pursuing when it comes to your senior year, or is there something else?
I really feel like baseball was the biggest thing that I just missed the season.
Hi, I'm Ryan. These are some of the clients I've helped out. They are literally the best. Here are their glowing reviews. I helped them with their car accident. Maybe I can help you.
I mean, so did y'all get to play? Like, let's talk about that. Did y'all play at all, like, to begin, or?
Yeah, we started the season.
Okay.
We started the season in around March, late February, beginning of March. And we played, I want to say, a total of 6 or 7 games, but it was cut short. Like, we were going down to play Abbeville High, and the head coach called and was like, the game's canceled. Everything's going to be canceled. They said it's best we just stay at home. Then the next day, that's when we got the whole stay-at-home order, and we were on a quarantine for 2 weeks, and which turned into a month, and now 2 months.
Possibly longer.
Yeah.
Possibly longer.
I mean, were you also playing tournament ball or just high school?
Yeah, I was going to play tournament ball as well with my older brother. His name's Marlon Bates. But he's not my older brother. I always say he's my older brother, and people say, like, but he didn't come from your mom or your dad. So we grew up as we were like playing baseball, basketball, football, play everything together, and he's like a big brother to me. But I was going to play some tournament ball with my older brother, and we were going to go to Texas, UL Monroe, but this happened, so a lot of things just got cut short.
So what's next for you, man?
Honestly, I'm just trying to work on these scholarships and get as much money as possible and get ready for college.
Where are you, what are your possibilities in terms of school? What are you thinking about doing? Where are you thinking about going?
The 2 biggest colleges that I've been focusing on are UL Monroe and Grambling State.
Okay. And if memory serves me correctly, you just got into one of them, or did you get into both?
I got into both, but I just recently got into Grambling.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So what's the ultimate thing that motivator to decide like which school you go to? Like what is the most important thing for you out of a college experience?
One thing that I have kept in mind was to always go to a college that feels like home.
Hmm.
And I haven't visited either one yet. I was supposed to visit UL Monroe, but I had a game against Livonia, and Grambling State got canceled because of the stay-at-home order.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, so Ryan and I both met in college, and LSU was not my top choice. It was not. But it was the best choice for me. Like, I realized once I decided, hey, you're paying me to go, I need to make this thing a home for me. So I think that's a really good way of looking at it. So thinking about home some more, again, like I want to push just a little bit further in terms of your motivations and your home life and what that looks like for you, especially right now. Like you're at home, is that right?
Yes, I'm at home.
So you're staying at home, which is great. So how is that? You really see families come together or families' true personalities, you know, when you're stuck at home together. So tell us more about your home life.
I have an annoying little brother, an annoying little sister, a very mean older sister. No, I'm just kidding. But my little sister, she's very energetic. So she's like constantly running around the house. And sometimes she could be nice, sometimes she could be mean. Like she literally, let me show you this. So I came into my room and there was a note folded on the floor. And I said, nobody did this but her. So I unfolded the note. I'm like, it could be something wholesome. It says, I hate you, wholesome. J and DJ. So I was like, what is this? So I went to show my little brother, and he was like, who wrote that? I said, who you think? I mean, because no one else has handwriting like this.
You gotta love little
so
siblings.
She could be something. My youngest brother, he can be your friend or he can be your enemy, but mostly he's my friend. Okay. It's like my best friend. But sometimes we butt heads. My sister, she can be a social butterfly, but as long as you don't touch her phone, then she won't bite you. My dad's a jokester, so he cracks a lot of jokes. He likes to, play around. Sometimes we have a table tennis set up in our little game room over there. So it's just like, who wants to see me in the table tennis? I'm undefeated, and then I beat him. Yeah. So it's like, it's just nice to be around my family a lot more often, being that he's a sheriff working in the EBR department, and I don't really get a chance to see him much because he's constantly working details or he's with, different schools. And with me playing baseball and having brick and stuff like that, it's really been opening up a lot of time to hang around my family now. So I get to see the different sides of them when, I'm not at home for like 30 minutes.
What was it like whenever, especially with your dad being in the police force, what was it like, circling around like the police shootings and stuff from a few years ago?
Your freshman year. Yeah.
Yeah, your freshman year.
Well, I can't say I was kind of worried because with him being a sheriff, he did have a big target on his back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people felt like, okay, so there are these white cops shooting black people, so black cops might do it as well. So when they had this big riot going on after Alton Sterling died,
right,
and Trayvon Martin as well before that, it was just a big stressful moment because he was one of the people that had to go out there on, he was also he's a part of the SWAT and the riot control. So I was really nervous, but he always came home. He called us. He was like, I'm home. I'm safe. So you guys don't have to worry. He always checked up on us and made sure we were okay. I beat him to a phone call to make sure if he was okay, because I would be really worried. But with everything just dying down, so everything's just really died down from now, and he hasn't been doing much really.
Yeah. I mean, going through that and seeing, I mean, did he let on like he was ever nervous that he was, or was he more demonstrating like a leadership role? Like, even though you can kind of tell he's stressed out about it, he was kind of taking it in stride and just, look, I got a job to do, so I'm just going to go do it.
Well, funny thing, he was never stressed about it because he's the person he's just crazy. So when they first said they were going to shut down the interstates because of the big riot and stuff, I was like, Pops, how do you feel about this? He was like, oh, I'm fine as long as nobody touches me. I don't have to touch them. And funny thing, even though it's a little bit off topic, I kind of don't want to mention it because it's really funny to me. So when he first joined the SWAT force, I was like, so what is your job being on a SWAT force? He was like, well, my job is to, their jobs is like, if they're ever going to, let's say they have to report to a call at a home of an armed shooter, his job was to make sure the armed shooter were to drop their weapon and keep them into wherever they were and not let them escape. But he said he wanted his job to be the person that kicks the door down.
He's on the front line.
Right. So Dad is someone who's not afraid of a challenge.
Not at all.
And it sounds like you're the same way, right? Like you're not scared. You will attack something head on. So I'm going to take a little privilege here, and I know that you have. So we have thousands of people who will be watching this, right? Because you're going to share it. That's how you're going to win the money. And so one of those people I have to imagine will be your girlfriend.
You don't know you got a voice. You don't know you got value, power. You don't know you got a choice. That's that hurt. I know we been seeds. Why you think we come from the dirt? We got growth, roots, flowers, and fruit for proof, A lot to lose. Really, it's up to you. Know yourself, education and wealth. They poison our minds and communities, going for our health. They don't love us, they just love what sells, and we buy it. We build, they destroy, control us with violence, make us stop trying. They want us to give up, but I'm no fool. Find the right avenue. For me, it was school. I picked brick, they gave me the tools. Opportunity on the table. It's time for you to choose.
Right?
Yes.
Or we hope.
Right.
And if she doesn't, that's crazy. So how has that been? Talk to us. Like, so I'm single and I'm happy that I'm by myself in this house. Ryan has a house full. You're not able, how are you communicating with Krista? What's going on with that?
She actually muted the phone because she really wanted to be here. She's right here.
Oh, that's cute, man.
Well, show her, show us her. Show Krista.
Oh, they would like to see you, Krista.
That's really cute, man.
Here's Krista.
Hey.
Yeah.
So
that's really cute.
We've just been doing a lot of FaceTime.
That's awesome.
Good for you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's such a weird time for everybody. There's really no way to explain it. It seems like you guys, the senior class especially, is she a senior as well?
Yeah, she's a senior.
I mean, you guys have just been hit like left and right, like since you started high school, right? I mean, the most resilient class is, I think, what we've been telling everybody. What's it like, man? I mean, not having prom, not having a graduation, just what is this? What's the feeling right now?
Well, I do have a feeling of, I guess you can say, happiness because I don't have to spend any money on a tux.
Yeah,
because
there you go.
Are expensive.
Smart.
They are very expensive. But it was a moment I did want to have one last time. So with everything just being canceled and graduation just being pushed back so far, it's really hit us. And I felt like, things were just never going to be the same. But, you have to always look at the brighter side of things, because even though we may not have things the way that we wanted it, we're still here. We're still grateful. And we're going to have our graduation. That's the biggest thing that everyone's been looking forward to.
What's the class motto? Do you remember?
We don't have a class motto, but my motto is keep moving forward.
Dude, you nailed our last question already.
Right.
That's like kind of the last thing. We're like, look, everybody's going to be watching this. People are going to, want to know, like, what's driving you, what's your passion, what's your motivation, and you just nailed it, man. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, why is that your motto?
It's been my motto starting in 9th grade. We were hit by the Great Flood, so we couldn't start our freshman year of high school. So it was like, we can't let this stop us. We got to keep moving, and it's just been keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Then we got out to our senior year. We thought, this is it. It's 2020, the best year you could think of. We're going to graduate, go out to college. We got all this talent in our class. We're doing great big things. And then COVID-19 happens. So it's pushed a lot of things back, canceled a lot of things, but it's always been keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And we can't let something so big overpower us. We have to overcome this issue and look at the bigger picture. And that bigger picture is graduation.
I think Martin Luther King's motto is the same thing, man. Keep moving.
I mean, you definitely have that warmth, right? To where I'm sitting back in my chair like, amen. Like, I feel like I've been to church. Motivating and pushing us forward. So we appreciate it.
Dude, Henry, you're a winner, man. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. You're a good kid, man. Really cool talking to you.
I appreciate you guys for just having me here. Thank you.